On Israel from Lebanon that has gone on for months has become more intense. Lebanon's Iran-backed group Hezbollah has published a video. It claims it's from one of its reconnaissance drones flying over northern Israel, including the Haifa port. Reports say Hezbollah has been launching drones across the northern Israel border on a daily basis, many of them laden with explosives. This video seems to suggest a message put out to Israel that Hezbollah has its eye on Israel and access to most of its security installations. The militant group indicated that the video was only the first episode of more yet to come, highlighting that the drones bypassed Israeli air defences and returned to Lebanese airspace without being detected. There's still no comment from the IDF. But amid the escalating cross-border clashes with Hezbollah, the Israeli army says its plans for an offensive in Lebanon has been approved and validated. The statement comes after the Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz earlier warned and threatened Hezbollah that it would be destroyed in the event of a total war between the two. Even as Israel's ally, the US, tries to avert any escalation in the region, Prime Minister Netanyahu is claiming that the US is withholding weapons needed for the war in Gaza. Netanyahu implied the hold-up was slowing Israel's offensive in the southern city of Rafah.
When Secretary Blinken was recently here in Israel, we had a candid conversation. I said it's inconceivable that in the past few months, the administration has been withholding weapons and ammunition to Israel. Israel, America's closest ally, fighting for its life, fighting against Iran and our other common enemies.
Reacting to the claims by the Israeli Prime Minister, the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, said that 2,000-pound bombs are the only weapons under review. Otherwise, everything else is moving as it normally does.
We have one case that the President's talked about publicly, about the 2,000-pound bombs and concerns that we have about them being used in densely populated areas. That remains. We continue to work through that, but there's been no change in our posture, which our posture is, again, to make sure that Israel has what it needs to defend itself across these many threats.
The American forces also continue to safeguard the Red Sea trade routes from the Houthi rebels. The US military says over the past 24 hours, its forces have destroyed 8 drones belonging to the Yemen rebel group. On the other hand, the Prime Minister from Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, is facing mounting criticism at home over his handling of the Gaza war and the hostage crisis. Protesters rallying on the streets of Jerusalem are calling for a new government and the resignation of the Prime Minister. Protesters are also demonstrating in front of the Nahalat Yazkat cemetery in Tel Aviv, where Netanyahu was addressing the public. Ahead of his speech, shouts of "You're in charge, you're responsible" could be heard from outside the boundaries of the cemetery. Well, for more on this, we're joined by our correspondent Jody Cohen, live with us now. Jody, good to see you this morning. And what is the latest? We've been worried, of course, about escalation between Israel and Hezbollah. What are we now likely to see on that border of Israel?
Hi Oliver, so this morning we've seen drone warning sirens at least twice in northern Israel, and this follows Hezbollah releasing a video showing drone footage of key sites in Israel such as the Haifa port, as you said. Now, Israeli Foreign Minister Katz posted suggesting that Hezbollah has threatened to target these sites, which he said are operated by major international companies from China and India. Now, the Israel Defense Forces have approved battle plans against Hezbollah and Palestinian groups in Lebanon and Israel for meetings. He said that violence is inevitable if a diplomatic solution is not reached. But the Biden administration believes that avoiding war on Israel's northern border is possible. But former US envoy to Israel, David Friedman, has said that he believes that mediation is not enough and that to deter Iranian proxy Hezbollah, the US must reinstate sanctions on Iran and move back the US war carrier to the region.
And Jodie, of course, US support from the Biden administration has been so crucial so far in this war, but we now are seeing disagreements apparently between Netanyahu and Biden, despite the close allies, the US and Israel. What gives us the latest on that developing situation?
Absolutely. So I'm actually at Hostages Square in Tel Aviv, where some American student leaders have come to express solidarity with Israel and to meet families of some of those hostages being held captive in Gaza. And this, as you said, it comes at a time of public disagreements between the Netanyahu